Battle to the death, fighting till I take my last breath, till there's nothing left, till this flesh, till this past tense. Got up on the fence, henceforth this intense. I was lost, now a friend, now a force with the pen for the love.
Yo, what up, everybody? Welcome to Marrio Esco Live. I am your host, Marrio Esco, and alongside me is my good friend and co-host, Mr. Gil Vargas. Ladies and gentlemen, Gil Vargas is in the building. What up? What up? Man, it's an honor to be with y'all, man. I'm hyped. I'm excited. I couldn't wait to be here.
I literally leave
live
the show
with
like,
y'all
I can't wait till next Wednesday.
Since we finished the last episode.
I literally, every time I leave,
like, yo, I can't wait till we get to the point where we wake up and we're like, yo, you ready to pod? Just like that, just like right out of bed. I'm like, Gil, why you in my room right now, bro? Like, yo, Gil, why you in my room right now?
First of all, I wouldn't even say all that. I would just be like,
this ain't Father's Day.
No, this ain't Father's Day. Wow.
There's a story behind that.
There is a story.
There's a story behind that.
Might as well, let's talk about it, I guess.
No.
We just gonna put it out there, some random gem.
Let's just leave the randomness.
I guess it's one of them things that we'll save for another day.
Yo, what's up, everybody coming in?
Wow.
Yo, what up, everybody coming in? Join the email list, share the show, leave a review, purchase the products.
Purchase the products.
Is there a better wording for that? Like, why is
purchase our merch?
Why is that on the doc? Joseph, I need you to help me word things a little bit better, man.
Well, that is, I'll tell you
purchase
one thing.
Our products.
It is definitely
go to
right to the point. I don't recommend any
D2L.
salesperson use that tactic.
What do you
I'm
mean?
here for a cell phone. Buy this.
Yo, what up, everybody, man?
Buy this one.
Thanks for coming. Buy this. On their way out.
You didn't even ask
It's
questions.
like a rotating door.
Like,
on the
what are
way
you
in,
going to
on the way
use the
out.
phone for? What kind of person you are?
I think
None
it's
of
mad
that.
slick that like
buy this.
You see, like the zoos do that. Like they let you just get in mad easy. You know, you buy your ticket, click, you go in, you enjoy your time, and then they make you go through like the massive store with all the,
of course,
all the merch and the teddy bears.
Of course, every museum they're like, yes, enjoy all this, and then they make sure too, that they take a picture in the beginning.
Oh yeah,
and then you forget about it.
You don't know.
You go through the whole store. You're like, yeah, that was fun. Then you go to the gift shop, and then soon as you, first of all, I want to know how they know when I'm coming.
Bro, they
because I go to the booth and bam, my picture's there on the big screen.
They have people waiting
in different angles.
Oh, you mean like when you're coming to the exit?
Yeah. Somehow my picture's already ready in the big screen, and I'm like, oh, I forgot about the picture. There I am.
It's like face recognition or something. I don't know.
They got some FBI stuff over there, man. Because I'm like, how did they know exactly when I'm approaching? Like, boop, 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 put it up.
Is that Gil Vargas? They like scan you.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
That's
some genius level.
Purchase our products.
So yeah, when you go on our website and you start to get closer to the link, it's gonna go boop, 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 boop,
go to d2lproduction.com and check out our merch, check out our music, check out our stuff there. Join the email list. I think I already said that. Share the show.
Please.
Leave a review for my podcasters. Shout out to my partners. Let's do a big hand claps. Hold on.
Big old hand claps.
There we go. GOP, the Bar Podcast, the Prayer Plug, Rep the King Worldwide, Rap Remnant, the Bridge Radio, 520 Collective, the Unashamed Network, Godify, Sound the Alarm, GH3 Radio. Check out 2020summerfest.com, but I don't know if it's still going to be, are we still going to have the 2020 Summerfest? Like, everybody in their prayers, man. Please. Like, what's going
I don't know.
Are we still going to do
California is getting a lot of restrictions.
So wait, you heard something in the news saying what?
Yeah, they were saying that they're not allowing any gatherings over 1,000 people, which that's pretty much any sporting event done. Because there's a lot more than 1,000 people.
Weren't they talking about something like players like playing in empty arenas?
Oh yeah, like at NBA, they were saying same thing. They were actually like notifying the players and saying, you might play a game where there's nobody in the stands
at all.
Nobody. And LeBron was like, I ain't playing. I mean, he was obviously kidding because they're filming it, and there's a humongous fan base on TV, so they have to play. You know, he'll probably get a super huge fine for not showing up. But it's still crazy. Imagine playing basketball and all you hear is that's it. It's just the sneakers. That's it.
No fans.
No
cheering.
fans. Nobody cheering. Nobody booing, and you can't talk smack because they definitely gonna hear it.
So it's gonna feel like a scrimmage or something like that.
It's gonna feel like a practice, bro.
Yeah.
Even worse. Oh yeah, scrimmage because the other team is gonna be there. So yep, a straight up scrimmage
That's crazy.
on TV.
Wow.
And I guess NHL, same things happening. They're telling the players that they might play by themselves. Very awkward.
So prayers, man, because I don't know if what's the 2020 Summerfest is July.
Wouldn't that be
It's gonna
crazy?
be in July.
Wouldn't that
So-
be crazy though? If it still happens and nobody gets sick. That's gold.
Oh,
That's gold.
wait. If it still happens, are you going?
I mean,
We're obligated to go.
you know what? I'm gonna put it in God's
We're
hands.
like, I'm gonna put it in God's hands. Give it a break. Joe, you coming?
I want to go.
Joe's gonna be like, I'm gonna watch from afar, fellas.
I'm gonna watch.
I
from
think this
afar.
one I got.
Yo, but like now there's like more information coming out. Like I don't like the Joe Rogan had a dude on there who actually studies this stuff.
Hold up. All right. Recap. Last episode.
Yeah, there's more.
Was it last episode? Wasian Persuasion?
Oh, Wasian person. Yeah, it
Was
the
it last
military.
episode?
It was the
Okay.
military dude.
Wow,
Yeah.
that was last episode?
Yeah, bro.
Man.
It feels like ages ago.
What in the world, bro? It does.
It feels like,
I'm like, wait a
ages
minute,
ago.
wasn't that like
didn't we
2
cover that 2
episodes
months ago?
That was
Yesterday.
Wow. All right. Jeff Wickens was with us.
Yeah, man. That
From
was dope.
Civilian 101. Shared his experience as a veteran and just how he accidentally started a nonprofit organization to help
Which
veterans.
is awesome. Like in God's providence, like created a nonprofit organization that I've personally never heard of. I've heard of the Wounded Warrior, like, you know, those that come back wounded. You know, I've heard of like widowed wives that, you know, their husbands were killed. They have like some sort of like foundation for that. But I've never heard of a retransition organization.
Right.
So those that come out and have, you know, the issues, or they can't find a job, or they can't assimilate and like get their stuff, you know, together because they didn't know how to do it. They've been in
Right.
the military. So this organization helps them assimilate into society again,
Yeah.
which I was like, yo, that's fire. I'd never heard of that. Have you ever heard of that?
I'm sure that they have some that exist, but I don't
I've
recall.
never heard of it. I've heard
I
of
don't
a
recall.
bunch
I think they
of
have
them.
like some programs, but I don't know if they have like dedicated.
Especially on the radio, you hear all the organizations, but I never heard one like that. And it's probably something that maybe they generalize, like maybe a veterans
Possibly.
group that
Yeah.
does that. You know what I'm saying? And they just not saying, look, we specialize in this.
Right.
They probably do everything.
Right.
Where this guy is specializing in
devoted,
that.
Yeah, it's devoted to that purpose of
So
bringing.
that's
them back
probably
and-
why it sounds so different. But I'm sure, yeah, there probably is other people out there doing the same thing.
Yeah, and I
Has
think
to
it's
be.
absolutely
It's
necessary
not
to
an
have
original
something
idea.
dedicated to that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and then we shared some creative tips, $5 to check out. And of course, every time I go through creative tips, this dude wants to come up with jokes and distract me. But, you know, I went through it.
Yeah.
I was able to plow through it.
That's my dude. That's
And
what
I
do.
got you in actually because I got you to talk about the track you made with GarageBand.
Yeah.
And I think we should leak that.
You
Like,
still have that?
Don't you have it in your map? You got it in your map.
No,
Stop
you
playing
have
with
it
me.
in your prehistoric.
I gotta find
Apple.
that track. I gotta find
Oh,
that track.
that's not the one you smashed in the music video, did you? No, it wasn't an Apple. It was your old Apple that your dad bought you. Like that was like your
That's where it
first-
is.
That's where it is. That's
You
where I
made it in that laptop.
Yeah, that's
Oh, man,
the
I gotta
only
find-
laptop you had GarageBand in.
I gotta find that.
That's
track.
an Apple software. That's literally the last time you worked with an Apple product. Actually,
Yeah, true.
after that, you went PC, and then you became
I went full
anti-Apple.
IT.
He
I went full.
He went
I went full geek.
anti-Apple.
I started building my own PCs. I was like,
Legit.
you know. Did you buy that new that MPC? No, I built mine. I was like,
built mine,
like
bro.
building mine with like
I'm
different.
like, why you just get an Apple?
built
bro?
my own MPC.
That was the Puerto Rican in him. He's like, I'm not paying that monies. I'm not
not
paying that
money-
monies when I can build my computer. Look, it works the same. It has a
And I still
it has a
complain.
mouse.
I still complain about the parts.
and you still complain. These parts are too expensive, man.
Yo, why is that mad expensive, man?
So yo, that's the box.
Oh man, yo, let's jump into a skit real quick. I'm sure Manny was waiting on this one. This is I Gotta Go featuring myself and Manny Rivera. Here we go. All right.
I gotta go pee-pee.
You gotta go pee-pee?
Yeah.
All right.
I gotta go pee-pee.
All right. Settle down. We'll park right here. All right, bro. It's all you.
Damn, bro. Yo, thanks for stopping, bro. I really had to go, bro.
Whew. Yo, man, you really remind me of my son when you gotta use the bathroom, bro.
You're stupid.
You're the one who looks stupid with that wig on. All right, empanadas.
Stupid, man.
Yes.
Empanadas.
Yes.
Okay, just in
those
case
are-
y'all didn't hear that.
Man, shout out to
All
Manny,
right,
man. We love you,
empanadas.
brother. Oh man, it's always
That was
fun.
kind of like a spin-off, like the Snickers commercial.
What do you mean? Oh yeah,
The Snickers commercial does
What are you
that.
saying? I'm not original or something?
No, I'm saying that was like a
What do you-
spin-off because you used the bathroom.
Oh, okay.
Where the Snickers is about hunger.
Okay,
they
so
act
that's
like
not
a
a
little
diss.
kid, or
That's
they
not
act
a
like an
diss.
old lady.
Okay. As long as it's not.
And then as soon as they take a bite of the
all right,
Snickers,
bro.
they
Yeah.
become
Okay.
normal.
What are you trying?
You know, sort of similar like that.
Thank you, man. You're saying it's
Take
all
a bite out of crime.
Man.
Kind of like you took a bite out of that idea.
Oh,
I'm just kidding.
wow.
This is totally original,
That's
guys. I
completely
promise.
Original, man.
That's what he says to us when
First
he's
of all,
filming.
there was no food involved. Hello. Talk about original, man.
Talk about original. He
No
goes in
food
there.
involved.
It's like, oh, you act like my son, man. You act just like him.
Exactly. My son was involved. So for those that didn't see
It was a family affair. until
listening
you
on the
got here.
podcast, it was my son involved, and he had to use the bathroom, and it ended up being Manny coming
Yep.
back, full grown man with a
Facts.
with a wig
With a
on,
wig on.
same outfit as my son, hopping. Yeah, those are fun, man. We have a good time every time we do that.
Oh, those skits were amazing.
Yeah, dude. You're gonna be more involved this time around, or what?
Oh, as long as I don't have to drive an hour and 15 minutes. Like, all right, the
Only
skit's
one-
done, guys.
Only one thing at a time.
Go ahead, go home. I'm like,
Can
oh,
you-
I only drove an hour and a half just
Yeah.
for 10 minutes. No big deal.
You remember that one? You were supposed to be in the ritmos.
Yeah, and I completely
and
went
you-
the wrong
Where
way.
did you go?
I went like an hour another direction. It was awesome.
You were supposed to be
It was
there, man.
awesome.
That's all
It's
right.
just the tales of Gil Vargas on the road.
Is that what? That's a normal.
And I'm like, yo, I'm like 5 minutes away.
is that a normal thing?
And he's
for
like,
you?
all right, cool. And then 5 minutes goes by, and then I realize that I'm going the completely wrong way. Then I put the GPS back to the actual address, and,
and
it's
you're like, oh,
40
another,
minutes.
Another.
And I'm like, dang, what did I do?
Oh man, that's the worst, bro. Especially
Yo.
if you're like, you need to get somewhere.
And I felt so obviously, I drove 40 minutes out of the way. I was so confident.
you haven't done that at work, did you?
Never.
Oh
Never.
man, that would
I
be
mean,
the worst.
I have, but not to that extent because in Boston, there's like streets that are exactly the same name, but if you don't get the zip code right, it sends you to like another side.
Oh,
So I
which is
have
the
done
worst
that.
because in Boston it's all one ways. and
Exactly.
If you get
So-
lost, you're done.
Facts. So I'll be like, Berkeley Street. Cool. I'll go to Berkeley Street and it's like apartments. And I'm like, this is supposed to be a business.
Oh my good, that must be the worst.
And
too,
then I look
because
and
you
I'm
don't
like,
want to
the
backtrack.
zip code is off by like a number.
You don't want to backtrack, so you're like going mad slow. Like you're like,
Yo.
let me make sure that that's the right street. Do you stop? Do you just straight up
If
stop?
I have to, yeah, because I can't stop in the middle of the road. So if I can stop, like pull over to the side, then yeah.
so
I'll
when
do
you
that.
can't, you flip out in the truck when you're like,
Oh yeah, when I know that I'm not in the right place, I'm like,
you're like, ah, yeah.
dang it,
Yeah, you be praying. Yeah,
Lord.
Lord, you better. You better don't pray to the Lord like that. Lord, you better.
Lord, don't
You
you, see
better-
me? I'm thirsty.
You know,
Like
whoa,
Herc-
Samson,
Samson did it.
man, Hercules. What? What you been reading, brother?
Hey man, that's the Greek form
Yeah,
of,
I know.
of Samson.
Oh, really?
The Greek Samson.
You think they bit the story?
Of course they did.
I'm sure Brent has a whole conspiracy on that one.
Oh, I'm sure he does. He got a scroll for that too.
Hey, yo, creative tip. How to promote your music on Spotify. I'm sure for some of you, it's probably like, you're already doing this, but for the independents out there that don't know, or maybe there's some of you who haven't, maybe there's some stuff that you might get out of this. So let's go through it.
Let's just downplay the information before they get it. This is going to be pointless, but I think you guys can find some value.
Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. I know I learned something out of this. I was just reading it like, oh, man, this is a fire creative tip for me. I was like, oh, shoot, this is pretty dope.
Well, I'm glad that you better and then talk smack about it before you shared it.
Man, all right. Yo, Marrio, you actually doing pretty good. All right. Yo, pat yourself on the back like, yo, Marrio, man, you actually provided some value here. You might.
Exactly. You're actually going to do a job.
You're actually going to finally do a creative tip. Episode 87? Really, Marrio? That's what's up, man.
It's like, I feel proud of this show now.
All right, so first of all, when we're promoting on Spotify, you want to make sure you get verified. And we talked about that on one of our creative tips before.
We did.
Where once you submit it through a pro, whether it be CDBaby or TuneCore or whatever it is that you use, usually as soon as you submit it, it gives you that feature to submit it to Spotify, and then it creates automatically an account for you. You can sign in for the Spotify for Artists. I'll put a link up. And then you can claim your artist profile. And then from there, you can customize your profile. And that's where you can add, your bio and information like that. You can update your header.
Which is dope. Like, if you guys remember the interview with Kanban, he also was saying his whole entire bio is on Spotify.
Yeah, I missed that
cool
one. I missed that one. I'm like, man, that should have been my go-to, man. Like,
that's what I mean. Like, it's cool because it's not just a platform where you go and just find people's music and listen to it. Like, you can actually read their bio, see their work. Like, Spotify kind of does a whole thing.
It's like almost becoming like a Facebook for artists.
Yeah.
Almost.
And now I'm hearing Tuli is this new platform similar to Spotify.
Oh, that's
but it's
dope.
made for like creatives and like people just starting to make their own music in their wave. Almost like like a social media platform.
Bang is in Boston right now. He's saying, my bad. I just want to show love. Go ahead, man. My bad.
It's kind of like a social media platform for creatives.
Oh, that's
it's called Tuli or something.
So
like
it
that.
is sort of like what Spotify is sort of like kind of dabbling. I don't know.
Well, Spotify is a streaming platform where Tuli
this is
more like a social media.
This is like
so you can collab.
Stream,
you can collab. You can do all things that you can basically do it
for streaming.
I don't know. That's actually a good question. I just heard about it. Like, people are talking about it on social media. Like, yo,
it'd be dope.
Download Tuli, da 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 da. And then I looked at the description.
Strictly for artists, not fans.
What do you mean?
What you're talking about, is it strictly, it's an artist?
Yeah, it's kind of driven for creatives and artists and stuff like that. Not only that, but just putting out your music, you know what I'm saying? To share it with other people. If you wanted to get like feedback, like that would be a great place because they all know what they're talking about.
This is like a sub creative tip within the creative tip. That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
That's fire. All right.
Because it's similar. It's called Tuli, I think. It's Tully.
Cool. Tuli. So go check out Tuli.
That
was a sub creative tip from Gil Vargas. That was fire. That was a gem for you, brother. Good job.
I tried.
You earned that.
I'm trying to be.
You can also, in Spotify, you can also integrate your concert calendar.
Oh, that's fire.
You can pick your artist pick to the top of your profile and a whole bunch of other.
So your bio is almost like your own website.
Yeah, pretty much.
In a sense.
Yeah.
That's fire.
And then the next thing you want to do is distribute your music to Spotify early. So like 3 to 4 weeks, you want to make sure you have enough time to make sure that you get everything that you need to prepare to market and promote your project, and make the announcements. Plus there's additional information that you're going to need as well. There's a website called show.co. You want to sign up for that. If you are through CDBaby, you automatically have access to that, and you want to go there. And there's things that you can do in there as well that has free marketing tools that gives you access to submit your music to like playlists, Spotify playlists. You could run campaigns on Spotify. You could do pre-save, which pretty much.
And is these all paid services, or is this like free?
Well, through CDBaby, it's a free service. But if you go and create your own account, I'm sure they have like tiers, or a trial, or you know how all of them do.
That's what I like about CDBaby, because it kind of has everything all in one. Where if you go to all these different platforms individually, it's like it's going to take a lot of time.
Right. So that's where, when you sign up in there, you have additional tools for you where you could pretty much like through there, you can do like announcements that go when you release your music, it goes into the listener's queue. So as soon as it's released, the people who are following you, boom, they'll get the notification for your music when you release it.
How come I don't get that?
I know, like some stuff like that.
I don't get no notifications of music coming out. Or maybe I gotta like do something to the specific profile.
No, you gotta sign in. I'll show you, brother.
Hey.
Yeah, I'll show you, brother. After this, you can, and then you want to submit your song to Spotify's editorial team, and that's another one that guarantees placement to your followers and release radar playlists and stuff like that. And then, of course, you want to push and follow up by running ads to drive streams. So, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all the marketing tools that are available for you. Use Google too. You can use that. What is it called? Google AdSense or one of those. All the tools to push your music. You want to use those too, just to drive people to your playlist.
I gotta say, man, I love this day and age that we're in right now. Just because it's like, imagine being born in that time where everything had to be through a record label.
Right.
You had to get signed. That's it. It's the only option. But now you have access to all these different services that allows you to get your music out there, to be heard, create a fan base, ultimately create an income, with your own little niche, your own little fan base. Like, that's fire.
Yeah.
It's like a great time to be a musician. And a lot of people who are in the business.
Well, you're not bound to anything right now. Like, it's just, you're free to just
and dope. And if you're a consumer of music, if you follow music in the sense like, of the lives of these artists, you will notice that a lot of these artists are now becoming independent.
Right.
Why is that?
Ownership.
They're getting more percentage of their work.
Everyone's getting hip.
More of everything.
Everyone's getting hip to the game, man.
But that's what I'm saying. It's a beautiful time. It's a beautiful, beautiful. If anybody tells you that it's impossible to make it in music,
well, I mean,
it's because they don't know what they're talking about, and they just straight spreading fear and what's the word I'm looking for? Ignorance, and putting that into you. Because if you really study this, you'll see stuff like this. Spotify allowing you to create your own bio so people can get to know you. Create a playlist. You have all these different services to spread your music out to those who, subscribe to you. And it automatically goes to them. Like, what? Yeah. There's no excuse. It's either you work the system or you're not. Well, but there's no matter of like, it's by chance, it's who you know.
Well, that too.
Now it's not who you know, it's what you know.
I think it's a little bit of everything.
Not really. Because, if you want to become a superstar, then yes, it's a little bit of both. But I'm saying to make it in the music, to make a sustainable income, just to live off. Like if you're trying to get Mansion and Jay-Z type money, yeah, you need both. You're going to have to get both. But I'm talking about just a living. You couldn't do that before. You couldn't just make a living unless your life was dedicated to traveling and tours.
I guess it is easier in a sense where you don't technically need, a big
label, a big humongous budget.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. But at the same time, it's oversaturated because everybody has the same tools and everybody's playing the same game.
Facts.
So
and that's where
it becomes a little bit more difficult. But you're right. See, that's the beauty of it.
Creativity.
Because what happens is art hits like a plateau because everybody across the board is hip to the game.
Yep.
So everybody starts playing the game. And now you have to stand out. So people rely on gimmicks. But gimmicks can only last for so long because dudes are going to jail and you know what I'm saying? Like gimmicks are going to get you in trouble. Hold on. Let me unfold it. So now the gimmicks get you locked up. The gimmicks get you in trouble. So now they're like, well, we don't want to play that. It's too much of you jeopardize everything. We're trying to make something sustainable long term. So this is where now some people are getting hip to, good art. Maybe if we just make better music than our competitors, people will naturally flock to the music. One person that's never let up, bro, and I don't know if this is just my own opinion, is Drake.
Yeah.
He's never let up on perfecting his craft, bro. He's never let up. Like, the dude is like relentless at maintaining his ability to make banger after banger after banger after banger. It's like anything he touches at this point is like guaranteed like success. And the way that he does it, he don't be repackaging. He don't be repackaging, but he sounds like the same. You know it's Drake.
And not that we're co-signing.
You know what I'm saying.
But people get sensitive.
You know what I mean.
They're like, oh my goodness.
You know what I mean.
Did he just endorse?
Thank you.
Hooligan
Is that the disclaimer? Hold up, Joseph. What's this? Do we have to? Do I need like a?
We're not endorsing. We're just talking about
disclaimer, like
the work ethic. We're talking about
Joseph. You got
the level of professionalism in regards to the content.
Did it just freeze? I hope not.
Not content. In regards to
Gary, you still
the
here?
body of work and the artistry that goes behind creating hit after hit after hit. And if you want to say, oh, it's because he's secular, there's plenty of secular people that have come out with a hit, and then after that, they fizzled out. There's a lot. Hundreds and hundreds of artists throughout the years and decades that came out with a banger, and then all of a sudden, they just gone.
Yeah.
So it's not just because they're secular.
I'm just saying,
that
like,
they can become irrelevant for year upon year upon year.
Even
it takes skill.
Even in the secular realm, they're ruthless. Right?
Yeah.
You flop once,
that's it. You're done.
And it's almost like the Roman times.
A really long
if they're
time.
sick of you, like kill them. Like they just turn on you in an instant. We don't like you no more.
For an example, Chris Brown took a long time to bounce back after the Rihanna thing.
Right.
I'm sorry, but that happened.
Right.
You look at his career, and there was a definite, obvious speed bump where you were like, "Oh, what's going on?" Radio stations weren't playing his music. People were boycotting him.
Right.
And I'm sorry, but if you know this business, you know that the women are the core of your sales. They are the core. Dudes don't go, especially if you're a singer. You're a singer? Dude, I'm sorry, but dudes ain't lining up to buy your R&B album. There's gonna be sales in the men.
Yo, that's true.
But for the most part, it's women.
What's the climate
Chris Brown was known for hitting a woman. You're done.
Yeah, facts.
You're done. And anybody who plays his music is going to look like they condone that behavior. So he was put in a horrible position, and he put himself there. It was well-deserved. What was that?
Oh, the baby.
Now, the same thing's happening to him now. Woo. But he is also putting himself in that situation. He slapped somebody because they were putting their flashlight phone or whatever in his face. And then later on, he says, oh, my bad. I didn't know it was a woman. Like, man, you don't just slap somebody without looking. Like, how did you perfectly slap her in the face then? You perfectly slapped her in the face. If you just went like this, you probably would have slapped the phone out of her hand. You probably would have hit her in the shoulder or, maybe her body. But no, you perfectly went slap.
Bang.
You telling me you didn't look at her face and be like, oh, I just slapped a woman. And you just kept it moving. And now he had to make a public apology. It was ugly. He got super backlash. Now she's trying to sue him. Because she straight slapped him. And then he made fun of her afterwards.
Yeah.
And then he had like video clips of him making fun of her after he made the apology. So she don't even accept the apology. She's like, how you gonna apologize and then make fun of me in another video? Like,
yo, but he's not getting like nothing. Like his fans are not coming at him.
The cops called and everything. Nothing.
No,
really.
I'm saying like fans are not coming at him. Like people are
they booed him the whole time.
Oh, they did.
Yeah,
okay, so he's getting hit right now.
Yeah, he didn't even finish the show. He left because they all were like,
dude, dude. He's probably done right now then.
You can't slap a woman in public like that
and then try to celebrate it. Exactly.
I didn't know that.
True. Wow.
I did not know that. So Joseph in the background is saying Takashi 6ix9ine was known as a sex offender. Nobody
that's true, and they kind of swept it. So they kind of that's
crazy.
money. That's money. Some stuff like some stuff if they can sweep because of the money, they'll just let something fly under the radar, and that's the people. The people got to be the ones to be like, yo, speak up because real. Yeah. What? Oh, you talking about with Takashi? Because they love the. You know why?
Yeah.
You know why they didn't care? Because they love the gimmicks. Yo, it's like I was saying, it's like the Roman times, like when they were like, yo, like they love they'll they be entertained up until the person is pretty much dead almost.
Yeah.
They'll instigate just to see this dude just like get to the point of like where he's destroying himself mentally, physically, and the fans are just like consuming it like, yeah, this is an awesome reality show messing with real people.
Real lives.
And that's what's dangerous. Actually, you know what? Real talk, that's what's dangerous about platforms like this. Like if you do have you struggle with certain things, like mental disability or anything like that, like you struggle with certain things, like having a platform is not a wise thing.
Yeah.
Having a platform is not a wise thing.
It's definitely not.
Because when you start getting like an audience, you start getting fans and like that, like it does do something to you.
Yep.
And you got to go through it and learn, praise God, for conviction
but
lessons
people who
and
are
discipline, you know what I'm saying?
There's people
like,
who straight come at you like hard. Threats.
Well, imagine people who like, imagine a kid, a celebrity child.
Yeah.
Right? And all his life he's praised and pretty much worshipped and oh my goodness and da-da-da. And then all of a sudden he's not that kid star no more. And all that's out the door. You ain't cute no more, kid. Get the heck out of here.
Yep.
You ugly grown man. Get up out of here. And now what happens to that kid where all he knew was praise and
I don't know if y'all seen the kid that was in The Sixth Sense and what he looks like now.
No, I don't. Was that a topic?
Completely different dude. And he's child star. Like The Sixth Sense, remember? I see dead people. With Bruce Willis, you remember that movie?
Yeah.
You see him now?
Now? Is he all right?
No, he's just not the cute little kid that you want in every movie because he's such a dope actor. Like I remember when I saw Sixth Sense, I'm like, yo, that dude's gonna have a promising career because he can act.
Yeah.
Like, boy, he's only what, 8?
Yeah.
And he's acting like an Academy Award actor.
He's fine. Yeah.
And his career kind of fizzled for the exact reason that you're saying.
You think so? Well, I didn't see.
I think it's exactly
no,
why.
You know what? I think with him, if he had a dope manager like my boy Joseph back then,
ooh,
what Joseph would have done is try to find a way to rebrand him to a newer audience. You're supposed to have a transition from your young audience, and you're supposed to grow with them and transition to the next audience.
It's just tough because it's a movie, so it's easy to do that when they grew up. Like for an example, the Full House. You got the twins that grew up on the show.
True.
And
okay, that's
they
a good
basically
example.
they built their own empire, clothing. Then they transitioned to Disney movies. So they had a clear path. But when you start in movies, it's hard to create a path like that because it's just movie to movie, script to script.
Yeah, but I mean,
each movie going to have the same impact as the last.
But that's why you're supposed to be strategic and read the scripts and stay active at the roles you're trying to get.
No, I feel you. But the reason, what I'm saying is that because you have to be selective and you have to be very careful, it takes more time. Whereas if you grew up in Full House, hit show, it's success, all the way until they now too old. Now they leave. Now they have an open path. They can do whatever. They have the success behind them. They can now go into movies,
Look at Robert Downey Jr.
Whatever they want.
Look how he moves through genres of film, from comedy.
Yeah, but you can also see
to
the fluctuation because right now, Dr. Dolittle is not doing nowhere near as good.
Well, obviously,
but not even near. Not even near. I'm not saying it's gonna have the same success as Iron Man. I'm not saying that. But
Home Alone kid worse.
But I'm also expecting some level of like, I want to be wild now, bro. Like you left the franchise. You say you don't want to be in Marvel movies anymore because you want to, close that chapter. You want to expand.
Yeah, he don't want to be stuck.
Don't you want to be in the next movie after that? To wow, like, oh wow, like he did something completely out of the box, different.
Maybe he felt like he was
did Dr. Dolittle, which was basically like a PG version of Sherlock Holmes.
What is that? What it was?
Basically, he had the British accent. He's talking to animals, and he's mad smart.
Did he calculate his moves and all that?
Of Sherlock
Holmes.
Holmes
Fighting like animals and calculating the moves.
Yeah.
No, he wasn't.
He's like, oh my golly, Watson, did you hear that bear? Like, basically, that's what it was.
Did you hear that?
Did you hear what that bear just said to me?
It's a bear necessity. All right. Go ahead. So
this bear's talking about his necessities.
Should we give it to them? Your niece is...
It's bare necessities, nonetheless.
Yeah, I love you, girl, man.
Oh, my God.
Sometimes I watch these back and I'm like, I swear this podcast is just for me and you.
Hey, man, if it ends up being that way, I'm
This
good with it.
podcast is just for us, man.
I'm good with it. If it's just us, man, I'm cool.
I'm like, yo, this is fire. I always listen back. I'm like, I call him up. I'm like, yo, man, you killed it, brother, man. Like, you got me laughing. I'm like at work laughing to my
I'm
own
the
voice.
same way.
I'm like, yo.
I listen back to the show and I die laughing. I'm like, hey, this God, man, if you made me
Yo.
do a show just for my
For
selfish
my own
ears,
selfish enjoyment.
then I guess, man, that was a very weird plan, God. Very weird.
But
why
touche.
you wanted me to hear myself? That's crazy.
Yo, this is a good time to break away to our featured track. This is Next Life with TJ Godfarin, Voice Sevre, and Real and Nah.
We gotta work on
Real and
reading
Ya.
these names, man.
Yo, bro, just read the names when they come on the thing.
Oh, I will.
You know what I'm saying? Here we go.
I can't wait to wake up in my next life. Since I found the Lord, I live my best life. Say they can't give me better luck next time. On the road to heaven, come on, let's ride.
Serve the worthy king coming back down to earth for me. Got growing worth in me like a customer service fee. Be made perfectly, highway to heaven currently. Ain't no burning me, heaven sit for eternity. Yeah.
Save the souls, I don't do this for no clout. Ask around, they know exactly what we bout. Keep some bread on me, case there be a drought. Can't denounce Christ, I get solid like a mouse. If you don't know, now you know. We finna kick down the door. Let my light shine like a glow. Yeah, the Lord said I'ma blow. Jesus shaping me like pottery. Spirit hitting like the lottery. Yeah, I know my mama proud of me. I know a lot of people doubted me, yeah.
Got the Bible, you know that I stay with my word. Got my equipment, I'ma swing with my sword. Until Jesus come and save all the souls that believe when they died, he arose. Jesus coming back, yeah, ain't no turning back. Better get on track, yeah, my friend, you can laugh. Can't be deceived by the enemy, he really weak, ain't killing me. Jesus be my deity, uplifting me in tranquility. Hit the portal through the rapture, join the movement like academies. Finna soar in heaven, living lavishly. I don't see it really matter. Losing every time he battle me. Defend from evil that's attacking me. Killing demons like the casualties. Strike on finish and fatality.
I can't wait to wake up in my next life. Since I found the Lord, I live my best life. Say they can't give me better luck next time. On the road to heaven, come on, let's ride.
Serve the worthy king coming back down to earth for me. Got growing worth in me like a customer service fee. Be made perfectly, highway to heaven currently. Ain't no burning me, heaven sit for eternity. Yeah.
Let's ride. Let's ride. Let's ride.
I take the light out the church, yeah. APL straight to the earth, yeah. I am not equally yoked. I just like some of their clothes, yeah. We can all eat with no beef. Chick-fil-A with the jokes, yeah. Lucifer know for his face. God put death in his place. Who really the GOAT? You wanna be seen on the tube, yeah. I pray up the mountain for my views, yeah. I've been on a mission 1992, yeah. I've been on the move, I have been renewed. Living my life just like a black card. No limit, had nothing to prove.
Yeah,
That's
it
crazy.
cuss out.
Oh, y'all messed up for that, man.
It's a teaser.
We need to get them on
Next
the show
Life,
and tell them
TJ
to explain
Godfarin,
themselves.
Voice
Like, why you
Sevre.
ending the track like that so abruptly?
Real and Ya.
That's disrespectful.
Real and Ya. Is that how you say it?
Real and ya.
Yo, TJ Godfarin. There you go. Check it out. Next Life.
I gotta say that cover is weird.
So what up,
You got a
fellas,
goat,
man? Yo,
a eagle, a lion.
the special guest just came from out of nowhere. No.
Joseph.
Yo,
You
for our
forgot to put his
listeners,
name though.
our listeners don't even know. No, I didn't forget. It was just last minute, man. It was like, bang, let's do it. You know? What up, brother? How you doing, man? You know what? Your mic is off. I gotta turn it on.
Oh,
You're good. I got you.
live on Marrio Esco Live. He gave you a mic that doesn't work. That's because he wasn't IT and in his khakis. If you Dang.
I want to hear it one more time because your mic was off. Go ahead. Go ahead, brother.
No, I was just saying that, you know, it's great being with y'all because you guys have a you know, energy that really ignites people's spirits, and I think that's really important.
Oh man,
Appreciate that, bro.
Hand claps for that, man. I appreciate that.
Hand claps.
Let's play a little of this.
Hey.
Can we just go there a little bit? So, how do you think I did on the creative tip?
That was fire, bro.
Wait, I want to hear Joe. I want to hear Joseph's point of view.
It was a creative peep.
Yeah, you guys have amazing creative tips. I mean, it's
For real?
just, yeah,
Oh
that's
man,
just facts,
that's good coming from a
If
manager.
not, I would have corrected y'all. You know,
Yeah,
you know,
nah,
I would've been
man.
like, yo, you guys a little.
I
off
felt like
with
I was
that,
getting
you know what I
graded.
mean?
You were
Like,
back there with your clipboard and your pencil. He was looking the tip of the lead pencil.
Somehow I felt like he
The
was
lead
dipping his
pencil.
pen.
He was
He had a fountain pen.
I was over there brushing my hair.
he was brushing his hair and
He said, "What is it? That's a fountain pen."
felt like I was getting graded, man. What do you think? B minus, B plus, or
B minus or B
where,
plus?
where are we on the
Dang,
scale?
you
here?
even
Man,
get an
like I
A
said,
at
you-
least.
You know, you guys are my favorite podcast for a reason. You know,
Man, that
Wow.
yeah, that's
I appreciate
humbling,
that,
brother.
bro.
definitely
Real
because
talk.
you guys are well rounded in what you guys are doing, like with the creative tips and, you know, with spirituality, but also being practical and also like really pulling all this together. I mean, most podcasts, they only focus on that. Wow, I got real Italian right there.
You know why? You know why?
Yeah.
You know why?
Somebody's
Most
greatest loves to
podcasts-
meet the boss.
I like that though, because it's like your mind clicked to like competitive,
Yeah.
and then you were like, I'm gonna
put you to swim with the fish.
Basically, basically, all the other podcasters, we got Joseph.
All the podcasters don't measure up. You need some more marinara.
Ah, yo, fire,
You guys are
man.
a bunch of noodles.
Fire, man. That's what it is, man.
Nah, but for real though,
I appreciate it, bro.
Yeah, no, it's great. You guys are really well rounded. And then like, you know, just even from being on the outside, you guys really make me feel like I'm right there.
That's dope,
You
man.
know, and
crazy.
that's what really hooked me in was one day I was, you know, when I first saw that your podcast, I was like, am I sitting at the table with them right now?
Yo, that's fire.
And then
See, that's what we always wanted,
yo,
too.
Facts.
Like,
Facts.
We always talked
crazy.
about that.
Yeah.
When we started talking about the show, we always said, yo, I want to create a show that allows people to feel like they're here with us,
Right.
and that they
Sit
chill with
and
us,
rate with us.
almost like an extended fellowship.
right.
Yeah.
Like you fellowshipping with us. And that's how we always look at it. When we talk about this show outside, we always say, yo, I love fellowshipping with you, bro.
Right.
Sometimes we don't even mention the show. Like
Yeah.
the show's like an afterthought. Like, yo, it's so dope fellowshipping with you, bro.
Facts.
And that's what we do. And
Yeah.
so anytime we bring people or those of you that are watching, like, yo, you fellowshipping with us. Like you with us.
Facts.
You know, when you hear us talking, when you hear us like discussing this stuff, like this is literally what we do. We just decided to put it on camera.
Yeah.
Like this is us. Like legit. Like
Yeah.
there's no saving phase. This is not some kind of like, you know, Mario, are you using your pod voice?
Are you potting, Mario?
Are you using the pod voice right now?
But you guys are hella professional in your approach and stuff
I
too,
appreciate
though.
it,
Like
man.
that's what was great about it. It's like, you know, you guys are doing something really professional. You're well rounded in what you guys discuss and well rounded in the way that you guys kind of conduct yourselves,
Mm,
I
right?
appreciate
Like
it. Man.
there is that level of like, hey, you know, we chilling, but there's also that level of like, yo, this is a real professional thing.
We appreciate it.
what I
That's
mean?
humbling to hear, you know, especially because when we started this day, it was not like this.
No,
Yeah.
not at all.
So if you're a
Far
new
from it.
watcher or a new listener to the podcast, like, you know, we didn't always sound like this or the show didn't look like this. There was a time when we were filming on an action cam.
Facts.
Wow.
You know what I'm
Facts.
saying? Like there was a time where we were filming with cell phones. Like, you know,
Wow.
like it's whatever you have, you know, and you make it work. When you have a passion, you
Facts.
want to do something, or you fall in love with this because, and I say that last part when you fall in love with something because this was never the plan.
Right.
Right.
Like,
never,
We
dude.
weren't growing up like, man,
Never.
I can't wait for one day to record this show and air it on
No.
the platform.
No.
Yeah.
Like, you
Not
know,
at all.
put it this way, even broadcasting wasn't even in our thoughts.
Nope.
Like,
Wow.
in any way, shape, or form. We were just artists, and that's it. And you know, podcasts is becoming more popular. We're listening to podcasts. We're like, yo,
Bring
this would
back
be, this would be
Gary
kinda
says,
cool.
bring back the recliners.
Bring back the recliner. See,
Yeah,
that right
you
there,
like- you
that
like
is
the
an old
recliner
listener.
vibes?
Because we had
Facts,
the
we had the recliners, yeah.
at one point. And the reason why we got rid of those
That's
is because
right.
my
Your
back
back.
was
It was all because of your back.
because I had to like hunch over to get close to the mic.
Yeah.
So
I remember
it was
that.
strictly back strength the whole hour and a half.
Yep.
See, now if I get tired, I can kind of scooch up and my back gets to rest on the seat,
A
you
little
know,
bit, yeah.
a little bit, gets a couple minutes of rest. I didn't have that with the sofa, so I'm sorry.
Gary actually has a question
my back
too.
killing me.
He says, did you guys see Justin Peters talking about not playing Hillsong and Bethel in churches? If so, what are your thoughts?
So they're not playing Hillsong
And
at Bethel.
and
churches.
Bethel in
But
churches?
dang, but Bethel Church is like kind of up there in the lunacy, wasn't it? Isn't Bethel Church
I
kind
have
of like
I have
strange?
no idea. I didn't
in
hear
their-
about it.
in their practices.
I didn't hear about it. I don't even know why they're not playing Hillsong. Why? Hillsong is bad? Was
No,
it
it's-
wishy-washy? Oh, you know
Yeah,
something.
it's
All right, Joseph, here we go. What's
I didn't
what's
even
up?
hear about this.
What's
Number
up, man?
one, like the Hillsong,
It's wishy-washy?
yeah, like the main singer or whoever created it. And I won't go too much in depth because I don't know too much. I didn't even bother to kind of go deep with
It
it.
ain't, it ain't your lane?
Something happened where somebody got killed or something like that. Like,
What?
yeah, do your research about
What?
Hillsong because there was something funny
what?
that happened. And I'll just kind of leave it at that.
Oh,
with me
okay. I didn't
because-
hear this.
Yeah, no,
I
it's
didn't
on
hear this.
YouTube. There was like, you know, something pretty
Ah.
serious that happened. And then, you know, I hear a lot of different perspectives about Hillsong and worship and, you know, just about their group and
Oh,
how, yeah.
Wait,
like,
Gary
how their
says
spirit
it gives
is,
money. They give money to the heretical churches.
right? Okay.
The Bethel Church.
I guess so. I guess they're saying they give money to heretical churches. So probably who they're affiliated with are people who misrepresent the gospel.
That's, yeah, I heard a lot
Stuff
type
like that.
stuff like that.
Like
Right. So,
affiliations with.
Mm.
yeah, and just things that they were doing just, you know, weren't Christian based, you know, but
So so what do you
Yes.
say for, like, okay, let's say you're managing us, right?
all right.
And then we got a deal, like Spotify comes in and they're like, look, you guys are really, really good. We like your chemistry. We like your energy. We love everything about your show. And we want you exclusively on Spotify.
Yeah.
We'll give you, and they give us some wild, like, oh, we going full time, boys. Right. But they're like, but subtract all the Christian stuff.
Ooh.
You have the freedom to talk about whatever you want. You want to keep it clean? Keep it clean. Keep it clean. Talk about whatever you want, but subtract everything Christian based. Any
You're asking
religion.
me if I would do that?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Joseph,
And the
would you
reason why I would
recommend
say that is because it's something.
We're like
obviously-
why would I put ourselves on blast? I got to be a better host.
Well, first and foremost, like
What am I doing?
Christianity is a big part of my life.
Go
You know
ahead.
what I'm saying? I'm a God-fearing man. I'm a believer. I'm saved. So for me to not include that just for the sake of a platform or stardom or whatever the case that was, to me, that's like I am omitting a piece of me. So no different. What I would, same thing if they were like, look, we want you to be on the show, but we don't want you to release ever that you're married. Because we want to give the perception that you're single. I would also say no to that too. My wife is my other half. That's me.
Hold up.
I am
Wait.
one with her.
Let me try
So
to-
if you're gonna tell me I have to lie, you know what I'm saying, and omit a piece of me, like don't tell people that you're married. Like,
Oh, okay.
keep it a
Yeah, they
secret
used to do that.
because it could hurt your image.
They used to do that.
And I know they used to do that.
Or they
And
used to.
I wouldn't do it.
Yo,
I wouldn't
remember
do it for
artists
that
used to be.
either.
Remember artists used to
Sorry.
be 18 for like 5 years.
Facts.
remember artists.
They used to
were
give them the
18.
haircuts. They used to like for a perfect example,
Like, how's
New
he
Kids
still
on the
18?
Block.
Yeah.
You look at their career, and all the way up until they retired, they still look like they were 18.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, like, you do get older, bro. Like, you 40 something. You can't be 18
Can't be hiding
for
that.
30 years, bro.
Nowadays we have Wikipedia, so celebrities can't lie like that.
No,
Like,
Facts. You
Sorry,
can't lie
cats
about
out the
nothing
bag.
no more. You can literally ask your phone.
but that was a real
How old
thing.
is this fool?
That was a real thing where a lot of celebrities, like, they wouldn't either tell you your age or like they wouldn't want to actually like do anything that would reveal that information.
Yeah.
Dude, man, they got
whether they
background
were
course,
checks.
yeah,
married.
it would hurt them.
I could check your background in like 30 seconds.
Gary has another question. Should we avoid music that supports heresy? And that's a wide spectrum because that's like, isn't like secular. Like, what is deemed heresy? Heresy is when you're trying to speak biblical facts,
Yes.
but you're twisting the truth.
Yes.
I
Right?
personally,
So-
You're saying it's Christian, but it's
not.
completely
Right.
contrary
It
to the word of
misrepresents
God.
the gospel and the word
I
of God.
personally would
That's heresy.
rather
So secular
promote-
cats. What do the secular cats do?
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, I would rather promote a secular artist than someone who's a false prophet.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
All right.
Who's really
That's a dope
absolutely
point.
There you go.
doing that
Okay, yeah, that's a
compared
good
to
combo.
somebody who's just kind of lost in the world. You know
I
what
got
I
it.
mean? Like,
Yeah, because
that's different.
and that's a dope argument because
Uh-huh.
a lot there's and Christians out there, please listen to this.
Uh-oh.
There's a lot of
Gary-
people out there that if they just mention Jesus or I love Jesus or Jesus is my everything, just mention a sweet line like that and they're considered a Christian artist now. And it's like, yo, they should be a lot more filtering before we automatically label someone a Christian artist or be like, you should listen to them because he's Christian. Then you listen to their stuff and you're like, wait a minute. That don't sound...
That's probably a lot of people
Like, what are
come
you talking? And they're like,
a
oh
lot-
no,
a
you
lot
didn't
of
hear
people-
In
Brother.
God's Hands?
brother.
Also, the one song in his entire library.
Hold on. A lot of people come to this show and probably think the same thing.
Hey, it's possible.
They're like, hold on a second.
On the flip
Are
side,
these
of
guys
the coin,
Christian?
though, on the flip side of the coin is like, the label itself of Christian hip hop or the Christian genre has turned it into a genre.
Facts. Yeah.
So even based
Not business wise, but yes, I see what you mean.
No,
Categorically.
that's what I'm saying, business wise.
Because right now you
business-wise-
can't really find
What?
the
Wait.
category
What do you mean?
CHH
What are you saying?
as a genre, is what I mean. Like, it's not
Well,
on
you
the
know, you
chart.
can find it
Yeah,
in
you
a
can-
store,
oh,
but
CHH?
you can't find-
No.
You can't. But you can find it on Spotify.
Hip hop.
Spotify,
You can find
yes.
it on
But I'm talking
Pandora.
about Billboard charts where it talks about
Right.
the breaking
Not
down
there.
of
Not
sales
yet.
and all those things.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not considered an actual category
A genre.
yet
Right.
or
yeah.
genre yet.
Yeah. Right.
It will be though.
And
I think
on-
it will
on
be, for
Billboards,
sure.
Yeah, and it eventually will, which is, I would rather it not be that way because then now
That-
it really separates.
Yo.
It really puts everybody in a box. Where it's like,
But wouldn't that be not
you
the
can't-
fact the box, but wouldn't that be in the betterment of the finances in that genre? The fact that it's now globally
well,
recognized.
the fact that we have to look at Christian genre as financial in that way, like I'm all for business.
Mhm.
But business should have no, and people in the world know this, that, business has no discrimination.
But if you will, the Billboard charts and the way they classify music into genres is how they're able to prove that there is a financial backing behind that genre. So if a song comes out and it's trending in that genre for a really long time on the top Billboard charts, investors are like, what? You know what I'm saying?
But
That's
if you really
how
do this
kind of
to
in a way you prove
glorify
concept.
Christ, why does that need to be?
You know what? I
aligned?
think I know what you're saying because Gil, you were mentioning this earlier too, how certain things look a little bit too celebrity, like worldly.
Oh, yeah, I see what you mean.
Certain things look a little bit too. So that's the tricky part about the whole thing, bro, is that honoring God but making a living. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Being
But the
in
thing
world
is
and not
that-
of it.
Yeah,
but the thing is
exactly,
that
you know?
if
Really
you
difficult.
are
Yeah.
trying to be successful, because now this is as basic as you can in business, in order for you to become successful in selling a product, unless you're ministry minded, which is fine. If you want to be ministry minded,
Ministry-minded,
give
you've
your
been
music
blinded.
for free, and that's
Looking
it.
for the
Like
word-
that's what you
Nah.
want to do.
Yeah.
Dope.
Sorry.
But if you're trying to build a business, the key to a business is vast amounts of quantity.
Yeah.
The
But-
only way you can get vast amounts of quantity is vast amounts of people
So then,
purchasing
here's
it.
the thing.
So the
At
fame
what
and all
expense?
that.
At what expense?
At what expense?
And
What do you
not
mean
only
with
that,
expense?
like that's like to say like King Solomon was only able to sell, his land to Christians only.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's like, no, this is Christian land. Like I don't like
Christianland.
Yeah, this is Christianland. Like
That's officially the
Yeah,
name.
that
No
sounds
one
like
else.
that sounds like a dope faith-based amusement park. Hey, welcome to Christianland. You know, like you see Jesus walking around, like with your characters and
There's so many
like-
jokes
like-
that you cannot say.
You can.
That you just cannot say.
No,
I don't even want to make. I don't even want to talk about this
telling me
topic
that
right
wouldn't
now.
be fire? Hold up, you would be against that if you could walk. Yo, imagine if you could walk through like Genesis, like a story, and you walk through each part, and you get to see the characters like play out in this fake like museum.
I
type
would say
style.
yes,
That would
and
be
then I would
fire.
say no because
That would be
then
fire.
the corporate people will
You
go
could fight
too
the
far.
Philistines, like you could pick up like a slingshot and
But
fight.
listen, see, the corporate people will go too far with this concept, and they'll probably set up a cross and be like, "You can take a picture like Christ,"
yeah.
and then everybody's gonna go up there and be like, "Hey,
that-
you
that's
want your
blasphemous.
souvenir?"
That's blasphemous.
my
But that's how the
fear.
corporate people will look at it and be
I'm
like,
saying,
"You know how
but
much
like
money
a
we can
ministry
make?"
would
Number
be
one,
fire.
they're already starting to do that. But number two is like that's my fear if they do make a genre for Christian hip hop on billboards like that.
Facts.
Is that
A Christian
corporate-
hip-hop
once they
museum?
see that money?
Oh, you
is
think
there,
that's what they'll
see,
do?
We're kind of high. Oh, absolutely.
But
They're
how would
already
they do
doing
that
that.
if the Christian
What do you
artists
think? Yo.
won't?
Because
Hold up.
right now we're
Can I intervene,
underground. We
please?
make the rules.
Can
the
I
moment
intervene?
that we put a barrier around it and say, "Hey, we actually are making bread over here," everybody gonna want a piece. Of
I have a real serious question, bro.
Yeah.
If we had a Christian hip hop museum, what
Yeah.
artifacts will you find in
Oh
there?
my goodness. What artifacts would you
What
find?
artifacts will you find in a Christian hip hop museum? Come on, come on, Gil, come on.
It's good.
Okay, you don't have to explain it.
It's
Just put
basically
the
going to be
bread.
all the
Yo,
same ones
Gil,
you would find
look
at a
at me,
hip hop
look at me.
museum, only there's going to be a cross stamped on it.
Look at me. You don't have to explain what the artifact is. Just name an artifact.
Lecrae.
Oh
He's
my
not
God,
an
he's an
artifact.
artifact.
They would
He's
make
an
him an
anomaly.
artifact.
No.
They would make him
He's
an
an
artifact. They
artifact.
would put him
Anomaly.
in a box. Literally put him in a glass box and just say, stand there for
Yo.
8 hours.
You
So
are
he
not
goes,
Dad,
David.
What
Yes.
would be an artifact? The Jesus piece.
Okay, that's.
That would be an artifact.
I would put fingerless gloves.
Fingerless.
What?
Fingerless.
No, go ahead. What would
How
you,
did that
what
come
would
to
you
your
put?
mind?
What would you put? Yeah,
I just want
I say you
fedora.
don't. I say you don't have to explain it. I just put an artifact at the Christian Hip Hop Museum.
Man, I can't.
Dang.
I can't
Fingerless.
think of
Oh my goodness! I put a statue of a pantomima. No,
Pantomima. Why?
true. That's not hip hop.
That's not
True,
hip-hop.
true. It's just be random. Maybe a poppin'.
Wait,
a poppin' pantomima.
Is pantomima like the breakdancing
Yeah.
element?
Yes,
How it is to hip hop?
Yes, pantomima is part of hip hop.
It's the breakdancing.
That's the hip hop. This is a Christian hip hop version. Oh, that's
we have the
fire.
elements of
That's
CHH.
so fire.
Pantomime.
Yep, pantomime, lyricism.
Wow. That's
What-
unreal.
What do our fans
That is
say? What do they say?
unbelievable.
Comment.
No,
what-
come
an
on,
artifact.
put an artifact in there, man.
I'm really trying to think of one.
if
Maybe
you
a
had-
note-
so is it
a
the Panama
notebook?
gloves?
It can't be. You
Like some
can't,
type of
you
notebook?
can't be. What,
Pantomime gloves.
what do you call you can't be biased either. It can't be like concepts concepts performance mic. He has like a special performance mic. It'll be Gil's USB
No, it's
drive.
gonna be Concepts barbell.
Nah, Kanye West is like scarf or something. Like
Oh,
scarf?
true.
his scarf. Like
Oh,
a
there
scarf.
you go.
Like,
No,
Oh,
it has
forget
to be.
about it.
It has to
Forget
be
about
his $700 and something T-shirt that he gave to
Yeezys.
everybody at
It's
his
Christian hip-hop
revival.
history.
Did I just say that wrong?
Yeezys. Yo, one of the artifacts of the Christian. He's double dipping. You can't do that. Got artifacts of the Christian Hip Hop Museum and the.
Man, what will we put in there? I don't know,
Oh,
man.
yo. Anyway,
I don't know.
I don't know what's up with Hillsong, but hey, I don't know what's going on in that genre, but Christian hip hop, we got Datin holding down the fort over here, brother.
Facts.
Did you guys see Datin's freestyle on Shade 45?
Yes.
Anybody seen it?
I did.
All right, we're gonna play
I
a clip
definitely
real
did.
quick.
It was fire.
Let's play a clip. Check this out.
Yeah.
Here's Datin doing his thing.
He killed that.
Same beat,
Yeah.
keep it.
Shit, okay.
I think there's some swears. Yo, be careful with the. I think there's some swears in this. I might have to edit a
They
part.
don't swear.
I will go to war like Rambo.
Here you go.
Camo with Schwarzenegger, Commando, or Contra loaded with ammo. In the 99 extra man code, I fight for man's souls. I'm battling with the Dark Knight, no Bruce Wayne. If it were Bruce Wayne, I would introduce pain. This Dark Knight's a
Fire.
lion minus the zoo cage. Looking for someone to devour on the food chain.
Fire.
That's why my crew came.
Yo, he killed it. Did you see the whole thing, brother? I can't play this whole thing because I don't got the rights to this. So I'm sorry, guys. I'm not trying to disrespect and cut this out. I'm not gonna play this content like that. But go check it out. Yup. He's
And yo,
killing it.
and
killing
he's
it.
amongst unbelievers. Like those dudes that are rapping with him are, they. So be careful, warning. Like
Right,
they
right,
swear.
right. Facts.
So it's pretty dope for him to be in amongst them. You know what I'm saying? And preach Christ and boldly too. And it was fire. He was straight bars, straight bars. Like those dudes there had
Fire.
nothing but respect. Like yo, I may not be with that Christian stuff, but dag, bro.
Yeah, he did his thing.
Exactly.
Did you
Yo, he hung with them. Matter of fact, I don't know who Homeboy was after him. I don't know who he is, but it didn't hold a candle to Datin. Datin just killed it.
He murdered that.
Killed
this,
it,
This
bro.
is why
Killed it.
I really think that it would be more detrimental to have a Christian hip hop bracket than to just kind of be mixed.
But
in.
explain that. Explain that a little bit more.
Yo, hair class for Datin.
For those laymen.
Prayers for Datin. Keep doing your thing, brother.
Because a lot of people will probably be in
Shout out to
support
Menace.
of getting recognition, from
is it called?
secular.
Mental
saying,
Menace?
wow,
What is-
CHH is actually
Yo,
a viable
what is Datin's thing
genre.
called? Menace
What's
what?
that?
It's Datin. Datin, what's Datin's label called? Menace,
I think it's just Menace.
Man,
Menace, okay.
I forgot. Yeah.
It's just
I
Menace.
just know God Over Money that he is a part of.
Yeah, shout out to them too. Shout out to Bizzle,
Yeah.
God Over
I
Money.
would
He
say
has
that
his own-
Bizzle's one of my favorite hip hop artists, along with Seven. Christian
Yeah.
hip hop artists. And
Seven's not
hip-hop,
rapping no
and-
more though, right?
No,
Yeah,
he's not.
he
But
put
he's
it
doing
down.
ministry that's doing amazing.
Yeah, he's out there.
his
He's
ministry
putting in
on
work.
YouTube is
He's
just-
putting in work.
Yeah, and I love Seven for that. Because he really stuck to the core of what I always thought that Christian hip hop could be. I would say that when it comes from the music and business, and then on top of ministry, like all that and wrap it together, Seven did it the best in the sense of without confusing it with the world.
Yeah.
Like without getting tied in with without him going too far left with either direction.
And he had a colorful time, like throughout his career. You know what I'm saying? Because there were certain things that he was doing that rubbed people the wrong way.
Well, that's the great part about it.
Yeah.
Is that
And it wasn't so much the gospel, like some of the language some people found offensive.
right?
Where, if they're not from that culture, they put a little bit more emphasis on what he was saying rather than what he was trying to do.
Yeah, but he always
So-
stayed true to ministry while being true to himself.
Yeah, that's
and
what I
being
mean.
1,000 with God.
Yeah, and that's what I
He
mean.
never faked a thing, and that's
Nope.
what I love about him was that he was a little edgy with certain things.
Yeah.
But he was always true to himself. He never tried to exalt himself beyond who that he is, and those little issues and controversial points that people would say, that shows the growth, and that shows the real passion and love for him growing.
Yeah.
The self-reflection, and that
Yo,
for me, that's
what we got to
made me
remember?
really love
What
Seven.
we got to remember? I think we tend to forget this a lot. We live in a society where everything's measured by what you have, what you own, what you've done, your degrees,
Yeah.
stuff like that, like records,
Right.
your resume. Like we
Yeah,
live
yeah.
in a society that's
Your
based-
accomplishments.
Exactly. It's all built off of
Yeah.
that. And then so we put the same mindset toward like Christian creatives or Christian artists or faith-based, like people who are doing art or some endeavor that involves spirituality, because your songwriting, I mean, that's coming from your core. It's coming from your heart. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like it's coming from your being. Like everything that you write is putting forth some sort of ideology and some sort of thought.
Facts.
Facts.
So if you're not captivated by the word of God as a Christian, you're just putting forth whatever you deem to be right, correct, wrong, according to your own perspective, according to your own rules and how you see the world. You get what I'm saying? So we tend to forget that as a creative, especially faith-based, This is not, we can't just slap a label over somebody's head and be like, that's a Christian rapper. If he's a Christian, he's not identified by his profession.
Thank you.
He's not identified by his profession. That's just what he uses as a tool.
Right.
And it's upsetting.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
he, in this day and age, people put, and I understand he has a message. He's proclaiming, and he's using a style that's very effective at communicating a message. So in a sense, I understand the difference in responsibility, where it's a lot more obvious for a rapper, singer to look at them and be like, oh, I can see how effective you are because you're doing it publicly.
Right.
Whereas a plumber, a carpenter, a teacher, an IT specialist, I can't see your life. I don't know how effective you're being in your field.
In my job, yep.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know how many people you're giving the gospel to.
Right.
So it's easier to judge. It's easier to be like, oh, you're a singer and you're not proclaiming it the way you're supposed to. Right. And they automatically put you in this bracket that you have to be theological or you have to give the gospel in every lyric and all this other stuff. And it's why can't he just be an artist?
And I don't want Christian hip hop to become a genre because now it becomes a denomination. And I don't want that to happen. So
that's a gem.
That's a hot take, bro.
So
that's a hot take. No.
That's
we gotta pause. No, this is a whole segment in itself. We can't just bypass that. You said you don't want Christian hip hop
to become
a genre because then it becomes a denomination.
Right.
Wow. Now explain
how does becoming a genre?
You mean a denomination regarding?
You telling me it's not a genre right now? It is a genre right now.
It is a genre, right?
To identify the music.
It's to identify the music, but it's an underground genre, right?
So you're saying you don't want to bring it to light as like an actual
official genre.
No, because it separates us in a way that I don't think is productive towards what the Lord said about being in the world and not of it, and being separate from certain things, which I'm not going to go too deep into. But I don't think it
functions the same.
It's not the same.
It doesn't function the same.
Is going to function the same as this because
I'm so happy you're saying this, bro.
It takes us out of the world.
No, time out.
Completely. Now we're not in the world and not of it. No, we're out of the world and not able to even get in because you're there and I'm here and we can't sit at the same table.
Just because the world recognizes a genre and gives respect toward it and puts it in that platform where now it's recognized doesn't necessarily mean that now they own it. You know what I'm saying? Because we still control it. We still have just the same right now.
Bro, we hardly control it now.
Yeah, but
if you notice, if you actually look into a lot of these Christian or a lot of these Christian artists, a lot of the Christian artists are under labels that are not Christian, and yet they have a Christian bracket, which is lower than everybody else. It gives the Christian it doesn't allow a Christian a fair chance, right? And it also keeps people that who are converting from secular to to converting into Christ. It makes it difficult for them to come in because then people will be like, nah, you know what? You're not ready for this.
But what I'm saying though is not so much as what you're saying. What I'm saying is if the genre was recognized, right?
Yeah.
It is now officially out there. You can look it up on iTunes and any platform.
Yeah.
Those for an example, 7 would have been able to take advantage of the same benefits that secular artists get advantages of. And he's still serving God. He's still being faithful. But now it's easier for his platform to grow because now it's accepted globally now. You know what I'm saying? Now it's accepted by even the world.
I guess what you're saying
is he's now going to have more resources to do more things. Imagine if 7 had the same resources as like a Drake. How much of a difference would he make?
See, I don't
because I don't think the money would change him.
That's what I'm saying. It's not the money. I really think that if they were to separate us too much in that way, we wouldn't get that type of resources. They would separate the resources. That's my issue. You wouldn't go on a Shade 45. Shade 45 is not Christian artist base. They're hip hop based, and because we are Christian hip hop, but we don't have that label, then they're like, oh yeah, you can mix and mingle with us, and then we have the platform to influence
so you
others.
really think they wouldn't allow him?
If they separated it, they would be like, you know what?
This is not the
platform.
platform.
This is not the platform for you. This is, not for Christian hip hop. This is for hip hop.
But see, I have a hard time understanding that because like he's very vocal about it. So even though there's not a genre, he still says openly, even in his music. I mean, he has an album coming out saying CHH
I'm
ain't
speaking
dead.
directly towards that bracket. I'm saying he actually has the ability to do that because we don't have that separation. Their stats, their financial dependency is based on a certain bracket, marketing and demographic, and the geographic and just about everything that has to do with creating strategies. Datin today can fit into that because there isn't that bracket. The moment they put a bracket, it changes the demographic completely.
So it cuts us completely from intermingling with and being influencers. Right. But so I see the benefit of, man. I think
I see both sides.
It would make it easier.
Let me say this
for us, so because we would know our demographic.
Yeah,
but even that.
But at the same time, it boxes us in completely. It does box us in. So I think at the end of the day, if it would hurt us more, it would
become more of a war zone rather than a field of diversity.
Because now we're all competing in the same box.
Right. We already had this,
and there's nothing really happening other than, I guess, sanctification, encouraging each other and whatnot. But I do see, I don't know. I get where you're coming from.
Yeah,
Joseph.
and we have already had this issue coming like with trap music and things like that. So we've seen this happen with
I feel like it's inevitable though.
Yeah.
Sadly, I think it's inevitable.
It will eventually happen.
Of course it will happen.
It's going to happen.
Especially when you have someone as iconic as Kanye West
so then when
becoming a Christian artist now. You know what I'm saying? And now we have Romeo and his dad also now proclaiming Christ, which I'm sure music is going to follow. It's not going to just be the movie.
Just put us all in boxes.
You know that they're going to do that. So all these different celebrities are becoming Christian, putting out Christian albums. Snoop Dogg he actually charted with his Christian album.
Yeah, he
crazy
in the Christian genre. Yeah,
right. Which is crazy. yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like ridiculous.
Yeah,
but my point
is
that
awards. Like he won.
I think he was at the Dove Award type thing. Like. He's getting awarded,
that's because
and he's not even a Christian artist like that.
That's because Satan would love to sit on the throne of God. For real. Think of it. The world would love to sit on the throne of Christian hip hop.
Wow.
They would love that. They would love to take full control. They want that control because then they can put our Christian artists into the dresses. They could put our, Christian men and emasculate them and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, if you're compromising,
yeah.
If you're gonna compromise,
well, we already have Christian artists that compromise or fake in their faith and things like that. But to me, this, and even as a manager, and what I love about Christian artists being able to go on a Shade 45, a Datin and stuff, is that you're influencing everybody, right? You're not picking like, oh, I'm just trying to influence the church or I'm just trying to influence the world. No, you're throwing your influence out there. And if it sticks to somebody strategically, but if it sticks to somebody, then you might have a possibility of strengthening somebody's faith, or encouraging somebody to hop the fence and convert, right?
Hop the fence,
right? So it's I love that we're able to influence people, and I think that's the importance of Christian hip hop in itself. You know what I mean? But when it comes to the financial side of it. I mean, if we're going to look at it that way, then we really have no difference between the world and us. If we're going to be equal in
well, I'll say this. That's all like systems and influences and whatever the world is going to do and whatever, is in the conviction of people that are involved with Christian hip hop. But at the end of the day, if you're a true Christian creative, the entire journey is all about shaping you and molding you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't matter where you're at, what profession you're in, doesn't matter rapper, doesn't matter, like you said, a plumber, it doesn't matter where you at. The entire journey is to shape you into the image of his son, point blank, period, no matter where you at. And that's you're going to either get, shape up with with obedience and blessings, or you're gonna either get there with a lot of discipline, a lot of pain. But if you belong to him, you're gonna get there one way or another.
Yeah.
So,
but
you know what I'm
culture,
saying?
environment,
Yeah.
Finances, brackets, categories, labels, all they're tools that can either help you or hinder you.
Yeah.
And part of the reason too that I was thinking like that it would be a benefit is because we live in a day and age where social proof is king.
Yeah.
I mean, most people click on things because they see their friend clicked on it,
Right.
or their friend shared it, or they're on a platform because they see that their friend's profile is popping.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's all social proofing. People even use it as a marketing tactic. You know what I'm saying? And so now I'm seeing like the way that the Christian hip hop is forming and growing, and how the topic is becoming more popular and people are talking about it, where before it was corny. It wasn't even it wasn't even noteworthy.
Right.
Like, you wouldn't even talk about it.
And it was borderline corny then.
It
too.
was.
Yeah.
But
the
now
music
you
wasn't
have
great.
straight up secular platforms mentioning
I
Christian
still
hip
think
hop
it's kinda-
artists like in discussion. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, they're part of the discussion
dude,
in a level of respect, not a level of, did you guys hear what this Christian rapper came out with? It's more like, yo, did you guys hear this? Like,
But we ain't fully
is fully tracked.
transitioned yet, though.
no, I get it. But my point of saying that is
When
that
we transition, we'll know it.
If there was a level of social proof like that, where, wow, CHH is now an official genre, CHH is now filling up arenas, it opens up the dialogue.
CHH is filling up.
It is. That's why I mentioned it, because these are things that are progressively happening, and now you're seeing the difference. Even in social media, you're seeing these platforms talking. You're seeing these people that you wouldn't normally get recognition are getting recognition, and you're like, "What is this? What's happening?" And it's because it's becoming more mainstream.
Right. So let me ask you something.
There is that risk of what you're saying,
Absolutely.
that they'll come in and take control. But there's also the fact that God is in control of it all, and regardless of what happens.
Okay, so here's the question. Ready? Is that blessing or is that curse? Like, is that a setup?
Thank you.
Is that
That's where my mind was
is that a
going.
setup for
That's the
discipline?
setup.
And this is
Is
what
that
I
like,
say.
all right, you want that?
This is,
Oh, you want a king? Oh, you want a king?
Right.
Let them know you get a king.
Yeah.
This is what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. Oh, really? You still want a king? Give them their king because they desire to be like the world.
Yeah.
They want it to be like the
Right.
world. When you want to be like the world
can
and
see
you get
that
the
point,
benefits of the world, what comes with that is the curses of the world as well.
Right.
That's what comes with that.
The Bible has a scripture that says, they will kill you thinking they're doing God a favor.
That's what's dangerous.
You know what I
man.
mean?
You need some
that's
discernment.
really that tells you that there will eventually be a religion that mimics Christianity.
Right. In order to trap them in.
And then it will just be, wish-washy enough.
I don't
how
know
much
if
of that-
I don't know if that's podcast
but I'm
talk.
saying, but how much
we
of
letting
that-
the cat out the bag here?
Yo, but
Like,
how
what's going on here? Like,
but how much of that is we're giving too much
we
power?
just giving our info out, like like plotting Christians at the round table, like, guys, how are we gonna doing this publicly and stuff? Like, how are we gonna do this, guys?
How are we going to strategize?
You know what I'm saying? Like,
But honestly, though, how much of that is giving too much power to the systems and not giving more power to God? To even though if it does become mainstream,
it's not giving power
like,
to the systems. It's using discernment because
Yeah.
we are now being in how you call it? Embedded into the system.
That's a good word.
We're being embedded and plugged into the system. So once you get plugged in and embedded into the system, then the system says, hi, welcome. In order to get to the next level, you must do X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
And now you're doing X, Y, Z, thinking you're playing the game to become successful. But some of these strategies are actually against what we're told to be like in scripture. Like I still wrestle with the whole idea of monopolizing. Like,
Yeah.
okay, so the world and business strategy says it's okay. So that makes it okay?
Right.
We're good to do that?
Right. And I truly believe that.
You know
because
what I'm saying?
God
Like-
says, that a man should provide for his family, or he's worse than an infidel, right? But when we take Christ and then make Christ a product, I think there's an issue, right?
Facts.
We
Absolutely.
can make music a product.
Yeah, music
We
can
can
always
use
be a
it to
product.
influence people.
Right.
We can use it
You
to
make
make
an
money and
investment,
stuff.
you put work in,
Yeah.
you're laboring over this product that you're
Right.
creating.
And even to say, right, this is the danger to me, is even to say that, like, because this making CHH like official genre in the way that you're talking about it.
Mhm.
It's like if you have Christ, you're guaranteed to be rich. That's basically what you're saying.
That's what
what I mean.
Yes, and
yo,
no.
It's like
yo,
a
hold on. Okay,
prosperity
wait.
preaching.
Gary
That's
just
like
said this.
prosperity.
Isn't
preaching.
that the prosperity gospel?
Okay, but then
Oh.
I would have to ask this question. So
Oh,
the companies that create Bibles, how come they're not just giving them for free?
some of
I
them
don't
do.
think that they
Some of them
should.
do.
Some,
Hold
but
up,
for the
hold up,
majority,
though.
they're not all free.
You know how much it costs to make a Bible?
You know how much it costs to make an album?
And that's what I'm saying. It's not.
You know how much it costs to get
Well, that's what I'm
promotion and all that? It costs a lot of money.
But that's my point. You know what I mean? Because I'm not talking about your album. I'm talking about Christ.
Making
And
Christ
that's
a product.
A product. Yeah.
But how do you
Not your music, not your influence.
So how do
I
you
get
make
that.
Christ a product?
You can very well make Christ a product by saying that if you accept Christ, that you're guaranteed a blessing, and just the perception that you might is what a lot of prosperity
how would an artist do
preachers
that?
do already.
Oh yeah, and prosperity
Yeah.
gospel. Yes, I 100% agree with that.
You gotta
By making
clarify.
But that's not what I'm saying.
A
What I-
bracket and showing its finances is a way of doing that, because then people, even regular Christians, they won't be rapping out of faith. They'll be rapping out of
A
hope.
duty
that
to
they'll
get
a
the
duty
money.
to get the money.
Yeah.
Which we already have.
But we're kind of
But it will
also
increase that.
kind of creating this blanket statement for every single artist out there, and I don't think every artist, if given the opportunity,
Man, Gary's
to become
giving us serving
mainstream,
us a heat right now. Gary, you the producer of this show, brother. Like, yo, hand claps for Gary. Thank you. You doing it. Oh, that's not hand claps. There we go.
because
Yo, he said, hold up. This is what happened to CCM, where you had artists that fell away.
Okay.
So we seeing the same thing happen with CCM.
right.
yeah, but not everybody in CCM is
Not
looking at
everybody
it
is.
as a business, and they're like, I'm just trying to make some money.
No,
like,
and
there's some
I
people
think
who
we should look at
genuinely
Serving
love
genuinely.
creating this music,
I think
knowing
we should
that it
look
provides.
at Christian hip hop as a business because it's hip hop. I think hip hop is great as a business. It's a great culture. I love it. I grew up in hip hop.
like a subgenre.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it.
Because it's true. Because you really wouldn't find boom bap. Like when you can't type in boom bap. Like what I'm saying, you look up hip hop and then you look up the artist and
Right.
there's all the
Right.
things.
Yeah.
You
And
can't
you
really
choose
Google the
the artist.
subgenres. And
Right.
Christian hip hop CHH is technically a subgenre
It is a subgenre, yeah.
of
hip hop.
hip hop.
Right. And I like
Yep.
I'm
agree.
definitely one of those type believers that is like that's like I'm not a Christian hip hop artist. I'm a Christian that does hip hop. Now that's a fine line to play with. I would never renounce that I'm a Christian though. So but I don't
But you're
feel
okay
that
with
it's
saying,
necessary.
I'm a Christian that does music rather than I'm a Christian musician.
But what I'm saying is that if I approach you, I could say that I'm a musician, or I could say that I'm a Christian. It depends on what kind of conversation we're having.
Yeah. Usually,
know what I mean?
that's how I say it. Like I
Right.
say, I'm a singer, but my content is Christian.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I don't ever say I'm a Christian singer. Like I don't say that just because I think it's irrelevant.
Right. Now, if you're leaving out that you're a Christian,
I
for
always say it because I know
finances,
it's going to throw people off.
I think
You're a
if
Christian
you're
rapper?
leaving out being a
Right.
Christian for finances, there's a problem. Like you're basically denying Christ in that way.
Mm.
Like if someone said on your label, and I've heard of I've never seen it, but I've heard of contracts, that says you're not allowed to mention the name
Yeah,
of
they will
Jesus.
do that.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
not
Or
allowed
that
to
is an
shelf
actual
you.
thing.
They'll
Yeah.
shelf you.
Yeah.
Right.
And not all of it is because they're like, oh, I hate God, even though that is the actual core
Right.
of why they put that in there. But a lot of times it's because they want you to stay away from political, religious.
Yeah,
the
because
things
they're
that
trying
are,
to make stuff that sells.
Yeah.
And it's a PR nightmare. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're trying to make a product for everyone to like and your first song is homosexuality is a sin, it's going to be really difficult for
Right.
that rollout.
But if we're looking at music as any job, you don't go into your job saying, "Oh yeah, I'm a Christian plumber, and I'll only plumb for Christians." You don't go play for football and be like, "I'll only play if you're a Christian team," and or have to say, "Yeah, I'm a Christian tackle."
I'm a Christian tackle.
quarterback.
I guess,
That'd be
you know what
hilarious.
but I guess
I'm
what
a
like
Christian
rap,
quarterback.
I guess rap and then and also depends on like how explicit you are too. Like you know, it's almost like baiting and switching sometimes, and you want to be respectful when somebody comes up and is like, oh, I heard you rap. Can you perform at this spot? You're like, cool, and you feel like you don't want to just set them up.
Well,
like,
I will say
just to let you know, I do, I'm a Christian. My content is faith-based, like.
This happened with an artist and me the other day, right? An artist I manage, and they hit me up, and I knew that this venue is more for worldly people, right?
Yeah.
And I mentioned that person to that person. I said, listen, just to let you know, just to remind you, because they knew. Listen, we do faith-based music. We do Christian
and I
hip-hop,
love that, man.
Yeah.
right? And I said that because I didn't want to hurt that person, that promoter, to all of a sudden we go in and they get booed and shut down. That's not fruitful.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's not fruitful. That could hurt somebody.
Business,
now they're looking
time.
at us like, yo, why'd you do that? You
Not only
didn't
that, but it
set us
can
up
hurt the
right.
venue too.
It can hurt the venue and stuff like that's not fruitful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And my thing is that if you're a Christian and whoever you are in whatever job you do, the fruit will show.
Yeah.
If you're really a Christian, the fruit of your spirit is going to show.
Ain't that sad that you gotta like, especially when you get invited to an event, you gotta kind of put that disclaimer. Yo, just to let you know, my content is very Christian. Because we live in live in such a like, sensitive day, like day and age that you can't say certain things.
That's like a country artist going to a rock concert, though. You know what I mean?
Well, that's my cousin. What up, cuz?
Tony says, I think as long as you stay faithful to God and do his will and always put God first, I think everything will work out for the glory of God.
Amen.
That reminds me of a scripture that says, devote yourself to the Lord and he will bless you with the desires of your heart.
Amen.
That has been like the
Seek
theme.
first the kingdom of God.
Exactly.
And
that
all
has
these
been like
things
the theme for me. Like I've been wrestling with that verse. Not so much so with my lack of understanding of it, because I do get it, but I'm trying to understand it, how it applies in my life, in my personal walk. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, where does that apply in my life? Like, where am I devoted? You know what I'm saying? And making sure that you have discernment and you're serving him in every area, because you might have like this podcast. Like I might slip up, and this podcast might be self-serving. You know what I'm saying? And I don't even,
which is not, but
but I'm saying like
humility's strong.
I'm saying with a platform, as an example, with a platform, or even just rapping, like you can be self-serving with whatever it is that you do, and the content might be, God glorifying,
right?
But you're doing it out of selfish gain or selfish reasons. You know what I'm saying? So you need to constantly have that discernment of your motive, your drive, and what you're doing, all on the regular, because just because the motive is good from the jump or the core of like a mission statement, that's there.
Right.
So everyone can read what the mission is, right? Just because that's there doesn't mean you don't operate in selfishness every now and then. You can slip up for a day.
Perfect example of that is, my man Noah. God sent them to go preach. And he didn't want to preach for those people.
Yeah, right.
So he went to another people.
Wait.
Still preaching.
Wait, that's not Noah.
Yeah, and he got swallowed because God wanted him to preach to those people.
That's Jonah. That's Jonah.
I mean, Jonah. Jonah, my bad.
I got confused. I was like, he's talking
Jonah.
about
I'm like, hold on.
My bad. I said Noah. Noah built the boat. My bad.
Noah
built the boat.
I was thinking Noah didn't fall off the boat.
No, my bad.
What verse was that?
Jonah. My fault. Noah kind of sounds the same, man.
And it wasn't a whale, was it?
What I love about
it said big fish. That is
was
trying to get all technical.
Do you know your word?
It didn't say the word whale, but it said a giant fish.
They were in water.
Jeez. Yeah. He's operating in selfishness right now.
You need to I'm operating in selfishness.
Get this dude up out of here.
But that's perfect. That's a perfect example. As long as I get the names right.
Yeah.
It's a perfect example.
What was the name of the whale?
Yes.
Moby. No, but seriously, like that, his intent was still good. He was like, I'm going to go preach, but just not to the people that God sent me to preach to. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that we do a lot. We want to do what we want to do instead of what God wants to do.
And actually, the reason why I'm talking about this whole philosophy thing about the names and brackets and stuff is because I don't want us Christians to be so quick to judge people, no matter where they are in their walk. When it comes to Christian hip hop, I don't want us to, like I feel like we all need accountability and stuff. All the things that us Christians should be doing anyways. but you never know who might be inspired, right? Or this Christian who's really kind of not doing great, with his faith, but he raps and stuff, and he's not, and you can kind of tell in his music, he still might be inspiring somebody of the world to come to Christ. He's in his walk. At least he's walking with Christ. It's the same thing with Kanye. I don't know if Kanye is a devout Christian or not, but one thing I know is that God will use this as fruit, because I can only imagine how many people who are of the world that came to Christ, that wouldn't have came to Christ if Kanye didn't at least speak it.
I've said it since the beginning. I'm like, whether he's truly a believer or not, I don't know. All I know is that he got millions of people to say Jesus is king.
Yeah.
If that's all that his job was, he did it. Sorry. Facts. He had news anchors. He had all walks,
regardless of what. Yeah,
say
right. It
Jesus
could be a means to an
king.
end. It could be a means to an end. Who knows through Kanye's
that
Jesus
to me
is
was
king,
fire enough.
Who knows if that sparked up somebody's interest in what is this Jesus is king, and now is looking up Kanye, who's now affiliated with Christian hip hop, which is a subgenre. And now when you play Jesus is king, guess who's playing in the Spotify playlist recommendation? Then you get the Bizzle. Then you get the Datin.
Facts.
Then you get what God just did with Kanye West was dope, because he just funneled everybody into the Christian hip hop realm.
Right. It's the same thing with prosperity preaching. I can't stand prosperity preaching. I like meaty type, cut me, convict me type preaching.
Facts.
But prosperity preaching has
don't worry about my feelings.
Good thing to it, that it leads a lot of people into the church. Now what they do with that from there on, well, that's their walk with God. But
well, you know what? It's the same as Catholicism. I think that there's believers in Catholicism. I think there's people in there that are not very familiar with their Bibles and don't really study themselves, and I think they probably are just in there, but I think there's also other people that are in there that do study their Bibles and do have a love for Christ and do understand that the only way is through him and are repentant of their sin, and they're just following traditions. Right. This is what I was learning. You don't think God's grace is enough? If that dude actually puts his faith in belief in Christ, you don't think God's grace is enough for him to be a Catholic unaware, but putting his faith in Christ?
Yep.
Can I hit
if the gospel is correct?
Here's a scripture for
then you are a believer.
This is why I believe in the what I'm speaking right now, right? Is that in Philippians 1:15 it says, "Some indeed preach Christ even of envy and strife." Let me say it again. Some indeed preach Christ even of envy and strife.
And that's the
some
bars.
Also
bars. Bars. Go ahead.
And
you
some
see, God is a spitter too, man. All right? Go ahead. You're just reading bars. Go ahead.
Is it Psalms?
Some indeed preach Christ even of envy and strife, and some also of goodwill. The one preach Christ of contention, not sincerely, supposing to add affliction to my bonds, but the other of love, knowing that I am set for the defense of the gospel. What then? Notwithstanding every way, whether in pretense or in truth, Christ is preached, and
Amen.
I therein do rejoice, and I will rejoice.
Amen.
Did he say it like that, gangster? And
you know what?
That's how I read it when I read.
You know what? That's our time. That's our time. That was a dope accidental conversation.
It really
that
was.
really was not on the dock at all. We got a full dock this time. Usually I complain. I'm like, Gil, there's nothing on the dock. What are we gonna do? This time there's a whole bunch of stuff on the dock that we didn't even talk about. Like we just had a
never
whole
have me on the podcast
dope
again.
accident. Nah, that was fire, bro. That was like in the lane that I wanted. Man, we got to talk about that. After.
AKA coronavirus is in the air. So
facts.
Masks don't do nothing.
This
just in.
You want to jump? You want to play the clip real quick of one of the survivors?
Yeah, let's play real quick before as we leave.
So this particular virus happens in different stages, as you said. You get better before you get worse. So in my case, the first stage was I had the cold. Just a common cold. My nose was stuffy. I had ear problems, sinus problems, that sort of thing. But then you get better before you get worse. So I was getting better, and that's when I got hit with the flu. Now, I've had the flu half a dozen times, and this was probably the worst I've felt with that. It really was quite bad. It wasn't life-threatening, but I did feel terrible.
Then he goes on to say that he got hit with pneumonia. It was hard for him to breathe.
I have to say this real quick. I'm not making fun of him in the sense of what he went through.
Or the shirt that he was wearing.
And I'm not going to make light of the actual coronavirus.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Make that clear.
It is taking lives. You know what I'm saying? It is a very serious thing. You need to be very careful.
Oh, but that's just my buddy.
I feel like they interviewed the wrong person. Because you see the headlines and you're like, coronavirus survivor. You're like, woo, I need to hear this, man. Like, what did you experience? Like, I need to know this because this is taking people's lives, bro. Like, tell me, what did you go through? He's like, man, I had headaches. I felt awful.
It was very.
I felt really good before I got bad.
Yeah, right.
But then I got good, and then later on he says, and it's not life threatening. I mean, you know.
So is it, yo?
So I'm like,
can I ask
basically
you just
described.
I don't know if you know
the flu.
Dude, you got a bug.
The regular flu.
I was having fun with him.
I mean, if anything, he probably felt worse than the regular flu. But at the end of the day, all the symptoms that he said he felt
were kind of common.
The regular flu. I was expecting him to be like, man, I had diarrhea and I was vomiting at the same time.
Like something crazy.
So I had to have a bucket on each side of me, and I didn't know what to do.
Bro.
And I'm like, see, now that's different, and that would make me scared. I'll be like, oh man, I don't want to get this disease. But he's like, I was hurting all over. Okay, I felt that before.
This is all Gil Vargas, but
then
this is all Gil
I
Vargas.
felt better.
Gil Vargas on the
and
side.
then I got the flu, and I was like, okay, that's exactly what happens when I get the flu too.
When did he get a country accent though? Like,
he did.
But real talk, like the way he was,
it's crazy.
I don't know. It is something that
I'm gonna keep saying it was just the wrong person to interview.
Got it. You know what? It's something that it's unfamiliar, so people don't know. Matter of fact, you saw a Joe Rogan thing that actually put a little bit of fear in you,
and now that
made it serious.
See, now that's what they should have.
Some of that before we close out.
So yeah, I watched Joe Rogan.
So
he actually interviewed someone who, as a living, investigates diseases. Like, this is what he does for a living.
Right.
He investigates them, how they happen, how they spread, how pandemics happen, all of that. Like, that is his job. And he already made, even before this outbreak in China, all this stuff, he had predictions. He has articles out there. You guys can find it. And I'm sure you can find it on the Joe Rogan show, the guy he interviewed. And get all that info if you really want to know. But basically what he was saying is that he already predicted this. They've been studying this for a while now, as far as like that this could happen and what the outcome would be. And they've been studying the incubation, like how long it takes from the moment you get contact to a full-blown you're sick.
Yeah.
It takes about 4 days, give or take, is what they estimated through the studies and all that. But what he was saying is that based on the data that they have, is that this disease, this virus, is airborne. So the masks, all that, the hand sanitizers, buying up all the toilet paper and protecting your bum is not doing nothing. If you go to a place where someone has coronavirus and you just simply breathe in, you're done. You already infected.
I'm gonna talk to Noah and go
or
into
no
the
mask.
Facts.
Mask or no mask, you are going to be infected because it's airborne. Like, there's nothing you can do about it.
There's only one thing you can do: jump in the whale, go to the ocean,
jump in the whale, go to another country, and hope that they don't got it there. But that is a fact. So stop going crazy. If it happens, you do need to seek medical attention,
people
of course.
were saying, why is this such a threat when the regular flu is killing way more people?
And that's another point. Thank you for reminding me.
Because people are looking at the numbers and the numbers don't compare whatsoever. Like the common flu is towering over.
Towering. It was like 46,000 cases or deaths or something like that where the coronavirus was like 496 or something like that. Okay, you're talking about a flu that existed for years.
So the information
years. So there's so much more data on that flu than it is on
this
the
one.
coronavirus.
We're just getting hit with it.
Nova
I'm a conspiracy
19
theorist, right? So what I really think is that
then you would love like you and Brent on. We need a you and Brent on.
All right.
Type of show.
I think what they're looking for is really our social behavior. I think
really you think they're just gauging
pumping this media. No, I think this is real. I think the coronavirus is a real thing, but I think what they're really looking at and why they're pumping it up in the media so hard is for two reasons. Number one is the social behavior, right?
Mm-hmm.
And number two is because there isn't like a cure or a vaccine for this strain, which only increases
hysteria,
your worry, your worry for the social behavior.
Hey, yo, and we'll leave with this because we're over time. Yeah. But when it comes to worry and stress, that's sin. If you're a Christian out there, you're a believer. Worry and stress is sin, straight up.
Be careful.
There's no way around that.
Wash your hands.
Yeah, prepare.
Do all the same things that you would normally do.
Yep.
But ultimately, like Mario's saying, we have to trust in God.
Facts.
And if it happens, we still have to trust that He will heal us and we'll be able to help heal others, praying for them, being there for them. But we can't, as Christians, be so nuts.
No, what do you mean heal? The healing centers are closed now. You didn't hear about that?
Bethel.
You didn't hear about the healing center?
That's the part that Bethel did that.
And that was Bethel. Closed down.
They were supposed to go to hospitals.
Our healing center
to go
closed
heal
down
people,
due to
and they couldn't do it because of the coronavirus.
What happened? What? Your healing center closed down.
They were like, I'm sorry, we're gonna have to cancel this healing because y'all sick.
Don't have the ability. They don't have the ability to come up with the right healing prayer. So we're still studying and researching the right prayer.
I want to know how that phone call went. They were like, so I know we're supposed to come this Friday for the healing in the hospital, but we're gonna have to pass because y'all sick.
Yeah. Bro. If you had the real ability to heal me, if you had the ability to heal straight up, what we see example time and time again in the Bible.
You
go up to you lay a hand, the dude is healed. You see it.
The conversation would have been like, yo, I'm gonna go there on Friday. Oh no, you can't come here. We have the coronavirus. Perfect. That's exactly what I want. I want to heal people.
Yeah. So Gary jumps in. Or if we get healed, that's His will as well. Real talk.
And if we don't get healed,
God is a God who heals.
Amen. That's all part of His
healing centers. I don't know about these special healing centers.
I hope that was a joke, man. But I saw that. I saw a few articles on that. That's crazy.
All right. So don't worry. Pray. Don't stress. Have trust in God.
You're too blessed to be stressed.
Let's come together. Use this as an opportunity to proclaim the truth, man. Use this as an opportunity because we have a comforter, right? Yes. We want to promote the comforter. So now's the greatest opportunity that we have as Christians to stay faithful and be an example and go out there and tell the truth. Amen. So with that, we got to get out of here. I love y'all.
Peace.
Hope you guys had fun. I had a great time as always.
Y'all got an extra 15 minutes.
Take care, y'all.
We love y'all.
Till next week. Listening on the podcast, be sure to check out my Facebook music page, Marrio Esco 1. Again, 2 R's in my name, the number 1 at the end, Marrio Esco 1. Be sure to like and follow that page because I like to give updates on who I'll be interviewing and leave a description on what we'll be talking about. And I also like the real-time one-on-one back and forth interaction. If you don't have the time to join us on Facebook Live, be sure to check out my podcast. It's called Marrio Esco Live, 2 R's in my name. Again, you'll see the white silhouette of myself with the cross underneath. Be sure to subscribe to that and follow the link as well to whatever podcast you're using or however you're receiving the podcast, and leave us a review. We love to hear feedback. You can also hit me up at music@marrioesco.com and just hit me up with some feedback and ways that we can improve the show or the things that you like and enjoy. Any type of feedback will be highly appreciated. Grace and peace.